The opinions of this podcast are solely those of the creators and do not reflect the opinions of the filmmakers involved. If you are of legal drinking age, feel free to have a drink with us, but please do drink responsibly. You're listening to Cole-astic Cinema.
I've abandoned my child! I've abandoned my boy!
That's my son! This is my boy! My boy!
Look how they massacred my boy.
With your hosts, Fabian Salazar, a double triple bossy deluxe on a raft 4x4 animal style, extra shingles with a shimmy and a squeeze, light axle grease, make it cry, burn it, and let it swim. And Cole Butterfield.
I was like, all right, mate, I guess we're going to make this fucking movie, have a good time, you know. Don't pass me a Foster's, because that's not Australian for beer. Get the fuck out of my face.
Where we talk about movies.
Most of the time.
And when I win the lottery, I won't tell anybody, but there'll be signs, you know what I mean? I'll just have a war rig in front of my tiny house in Sandy, you know?
So come along for a ride and have fun. I'm so fucking tired. I mean, in total, I probably got like 2 hours of sleep last night.
Yeah, I wasn't even asleep. It's just passed out, dead to the world, not actually recovering or entering anything.
Oh, I hate that.
It's like, oh, cool, that makes like 10 hours.
It's like if you're drunk, it doesn't matter how much sleep you get. It feels like you've gotten none.
Yeah.
Because I think, yeah, you don't sleep as deep or something. I don't know. Somebody in the comments put it in the comments. But today, we have a very special episode for you. We are going to be joined by KG a little bit later on. Mm-hmm. But we're going to be watching the 2015 movie Mad Max Fury Road.
That movie's almost 10 years old. What?
Almost, yeah.
What?
It's one of the best movies of all time.
Jesus.
In my top 5. This one fights Shutter Island for my favorite movie.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, that's how much I love this movie.
Fuck.
It's so much fun. So yeah, it was like I said, it was made in 2015. It won 6 Oscars.
Oh, hey.
It got Best Film Editing, Best Costume Design, Best Makeup and Hairstyling, Best Sound Mixing, Best Sound Editing, and Best Production Design.
Oh, I'm not going to go for Best Weirdest Voice done by Tom Hardy? Or does
I
he
mean,
not do a weird voice in this
It's
one?
not really weird. No,
Oh, okay.
He just kind of puts on an Australian accent. Yeah, it's not too weird in this one. No, Tom Hardy's really, really fucking fun in this movie. I think this preamble is going to be a little bit shorter because I really just want to get into the movie.
And also, yeah, I know nothing, with the exception of the fact that we saw Furiosa together. That's the only Mad Max movie that I've seen. So
Yeah, so how much of Furiosa do you remember? Do you remember a good deal of it?
Oh, yeah, I remember a good deal of it.
Okay, good.
Minus just being incredibly pissed off about how poorly a lot of the CGI was done.
Yeah, same.
But
it
also-
was the story was really good. Setting
Yeah.
up that character. But yeah, as long as you remember, like when she was a kid, how green like her home was.
Yeah.
Like all the life. There's actual foliage and shit. As long as you keep that in mind, I think we'll be fine.
Yeah.
And then how she got involved with like a Morton Joe.
And then losing her arm and all that.
Yeah.
Which I was waiting for the entire time because I knew like she was missing an arm. And so like anytime anything happened, like, oh, is this it? No. Ooh, no. And then they just do it in a really badass way.
They hinted at it a couple times. This one, Fury Road, is really good about that too. With the anti-ex machinas, where it's like, oh, okay, so Max is gonna get out of this situation like this. Oh shit, he's not. Like, oh
Hell
no way. Yeah, so it's a lot of fun. So yeah, it was made in 2015, directed by George Miller, who also did Babe, Pig in the City.
Still mind blowing.
and Happy Feet.
And Witches of Eastwick.
Yeah, no, it's
Like,
so funny.
What in the fuck?
Yeah, his film credentials are so wild. So it was written by George Miller, Brendan McCarthy, and Nico Lathoris. It stars Tom Hardy, Charlize Theron, Hugh Keys-Byrne, Nicholas Hoult, Zoe Kravitz. A bunch of fun actors in this movie. Cool. It was filmed in Namibia, Cape Town, South Africa, and a lot of parts of Australia. Makes sense, this being an Australian franchise. It was made for $150 million, and it made back $380 million.
Jesus.
Yeah, which is fucking wild. So like it made back so much money and won 6 Oscars, and the studio still didn't let George Miller do what he wanted with Furiosa.
That makes no fucking sense. I
Yeah.
mean, I get wanting to hedge your bets and play it safe, but like when back in the day, if you had such a success and a hit like that, like it's blank check, carte blanche, like whatever the fuck you want to do, man.
As it should have been
Yeah.
for Furiosa.
That's how you find out how bad directors can get, is by just letting them just say, just fucking go for it, man. And that's how you end up getting the last half of M. Night Shyamalan's career.
Yeah. So, like I said, this movie rivals Shutter Island for one of my favorite movies of all time. And we'll get into a lot of behind the scenes stuff when we get KG on board. But yeah, I think one of my favorite parts is this. Again, this is Mad Max, but Max isn't the main character in this movie.
I have heard that. I heard that it's pretty much a Furiosa story with Max kind of tagging along.
Yeah, Max is in it, but he's not the protagonist.
Yeah.
No, this is Furiosa's the protagonist. Max is just, which makes sense and it's fun for the world and the character.
Yeah.
Max is just kind of there. He's thrown into it. And he's like, fuck.
Isn't
Okay,
that
I guess
kind of
this
the
is what
case
we're
in
doing.
all the Mad Max movies? He's kind of just like doing his own thing, then gets thrown into a fucking situation.
I think with the third one, yeah.
Beyond Thunderdome, Mad Max meets Hook.
Mad Max meets Tina Turner. I haven't seen Road Warrior enough, but I think he's more or less like, this is what I'm doing, and I need these people to like making a deal. If you run the truck for us, we'll give you this or something. I think that's the premise of Road Warrior, but I haven't seen it enough. And the last time I watched it, I was probably like 6 or 7. And then the first one is a Max story, but it's so different compared to the entire franchise that it's like it's its own standalone movie compared to what Mad Max has turned into.
Yeah, which is an interesting evolution for the movie series itself. Like, because I haven't seen any of the other ones, but I have like watched like Cinema Sins and I've seen videos and stuff like that. Just the first one seems very much like well grounded in like realism and like the modern time, and then
there's like gangs and everything, and there is some lawless parts of Australia, but it's not dystopian, I would say.
like it could easily happen in any lawless part of a country. It's like, this just happens to be like a smaller town. I mean, the story's been told several times. Roving band of gangs, blah 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 blah.
Yeah, and then like, I think we talked about it a little bit yesterday, but I think the Road Warrior is when the franchise and the world actually like, okay, this is what Mad Max is.
Yeah. No, remember that was the first one to, because there's a podcast I was listening to talking about it, and they had no idea the first one even existed because the second one was the first one that came to America. And then the next one came and people were really confused for a second because they kind of thought it was a sequel and didn't know it was the first one. So
the first one's like, it's so weird, but it's so much fun too. Like it is clearly a Mad Max movie, but it's just set. Yeah, it's just set in a weird, like the setting is just so different compared to the other ones.
And it doesn't have the budget.
Yeah, it doesn't have the budget, but that's what also makes it so lovable is like the low budget guerrilla filmmaking shit that I love.
Yeah.
And we were talking a little bit like that. There's a documentary on 1970s Australian filmmaking. I can't remember what it's called. But yeah, a lot of it was going into the behind the scenes of Mad Max and just like all the stunt people and everything is like, oh no, they're just trying to kill the stunt people. Like all the fucking things they do is so wild. Yeah, it's really fun. Those of you who know what documentary I'm thinking of, put it in the comments because I can't think of it off the top of my head. And then let's see. Oh yeah. Last thing I want to touch on, the guy that plays Immortan Joe, Hugh Keys Byrne, he is also toe cutter in the first Mad Max, and he gets just fucking annihilated by a semi truck. Like, but it's fun to think about like that toe cutter and Immortan Joe are the same character because one of Immortan Joe's things is if you die, like it's very Viking. Like if you die in battle, you'll arrive at the gates of Valhalla all shiny and chrome. And then he said, like, one of the quotable lines is, "I live, I die, I live again." And it's fun to think about, like, oh, no, he's Toe Cutter. I live as Toe Cutter. I die, gets killed by the semi-truck. I live again, and he comes back as Immortan Joe.
These names are insane, and it's all based around a man named Max.
Yeah. Max Rockatansky.
Okay, that's a bit better, but isn't like a guy called like Scrotus or some shit?
Yeah, well, he's the bad guy in the game. He's one of Immortan Joe's kids.
Yeah.
So there's Scrotus, Lord Scrotus, Rictus, and Erectus.
Jesus Christ.
They're all Immortan Joe's kids. Furiosa.
What was Chris Hemsworth's name? His character's name?
Dementus.
Jesus Christ.
I fucking love it. I was thinking about that today. I was like, oh, from this point on, I shall be known as Red Dementus.
Oh, he made me relate to Doc Dementus. Actually, he's got a bit more IA. Doc Dementus.
Do you remember me now? Little D?
That was fun. He was fun in that. But yeah, just all these guys and then Max.
My name is Max.
Not even Maximus.
Nah, Max.
Max
Rockatansky.
Rockatansky. All right.
Yeah. All right, we're going to go watch Mad Max Fury Road, and I'm probably going to cry watching it because that's how much I love this movie. But before we do that, oh shit, this movie doesn't have a lot of...
Say, isn't like mostly action?
It's mostly action.
Not a lot of broad, sweeping monologues for you to like pull.
Yeah, there's not a lot of dialogue. So, what should we pull for dialogue for our script reading?
The sound of cars.
No, let's see, I'm trying to think. I don't know. I don't know of a script reading. Maybe we don't do a script reading for this episode.
I mean, I feel like there's some you can't do mini script. Like if we were to like watch John Wick, I don't know what scenes we'd like. What
for sure
we'd do. Because it's an action movie.
I mean, in the past we've just like for the movies we haven't seen, we just did Dark Knight script reading. So
this is true.
Maybe let's
do a Dark Knight Rises because of Tom Hardy.
I was thinking about that. I was thinking about that. Okay, but I mean, Bane and Batman don't really have a back and forth. That's the only like one I would want to do.
Bane's only got a few monologues.
Yeah. And we give it back to you, the people. Gotham is yours.
Tom Hardy's fucking weird, dude.
He's so good.
I know he's really, really good. Like Bronson and all that. Like he's even semi-enjoyable in Venom, which.
Damn it! Let's think about a script reading that we could do, because I do want to do a script reading. They're always really fun, and I enjoy doing that. And I feel like the fans enjoy listening to it. If you do, leave it in the comments. Leave us a script that you want us to read. I guess while we think about that, we can do this next bit. This podcast is brought to you by Hopkins Brewing Company, South Key, Bolhangan, Skadagi. Let me do that. Let me do that one more time. I'm gonna leave all this in. But this podcast is brought to you by Hopkins Brewing Company, a low-key brickline brew pub with great beer, great friends, and great brew. Today I had the Old Merchant. Mm-hmm. Is it a pale ale?
A cream ale.
Cream ale. It's a cream ale. Mm-hmm. It's one of the lightest, just most delightful beers I've ever had. Super easy to drink. That's on tap right now if you want to go check it out.
It's Chad's first homebrew beer that he made.
Oh.
And the main reason I started going there in the first place was just for that Old Merchant because they used to have it on Nitro. And
ooh, I remember when we had it on Nitro. Yeah.
So good. But yeah, no, the main reason why I started showing up there, like I think, I was bringing Rob over there and like, dude, you got to try this Old Merchant. It's on Nitro. It's great. Hopkins is super cool. Then end up heading to Sugar House Pub across the street afterwards and run into, two of the line cooks there. And 4 fucking years later, here I am.
So what you had an Old Merchant also, didn't you?
I did. And then I switched it over to the Equinox.
The
dry hopped
Equinox
lager, which I'm really digging a lot right now. I'm digging some more dry hops, I think. I've becoming enough of a tool to be really into fucking hops. No, like it's very light on the hops, and the dry is nice just for like kind of mouthfeel, but it drinks like an IPL, so because it is a lager. And,
An IPL.
India Pale Lager.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it drinks like an IPL. See, snobby. I like dry hops and IPLs. Fancy little beer boy. Yes, I'm getting a nice tulip glass and let it breathe. What don't you?
What's the what was the bit? I don't know if you heard me quoting SpongeBob at Miley on Saturday.
No, I don't remember much.
Damn it. Okay, hang on. I'll pull it up.
Yeah, drinking a lot last night kind of obliterated my memory of the past 2 days. Which is,
Oh yeah. Yeah. So Miley was eating, talking to Evan, and she was saying something about like, oh, can I get a this, like just being a dick. Like, I want a tradish with like this and Alvarez eggs and blah 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 blah. So it reminded me. So I walked up to Miley and like Evan looks over and they're both like looking at it and go, "I'll take a double triple Bossy Deluxe on a raft 4x4 animal style, extra shingles with a shimmy and a squeeze, light axle grease, make it cry, burn it, and let it swim."
Sir, we serve food here.
That's okay, Squidward. I got it already.
Okay, I do remember that.
Okay.
Because I love those kind of terms for food. Like it's fucking been batshit insane.
It's so dumb, but it's so much fun.
It's like, really couldn't just say pigs in a blanket? Like you got to, okay.
Okay.
Slow going.
All right, mate. I don't mean to be rude, but this is not as easy as it looks. So I'd appreciate it if you wouldn't distract me.
Oh, sorry. I don't suppose you could speed things up.
If you're so anxious to hurry things, you could lower a rope or a tree branch and find some useful thing to do.
I could do that. I've got some rope up here, but I don't think you'd accept my help since I'm only waiting around to kill you.
Well, it does put a damper on our relationship.
But I
There
promise.
we go. I didn't have it in the beginning. I've got it now.
But I promise I won't kill you until you reach the top. I have no idea what that was.
You went into South African
I
there
did?
for a second.
Weird. Fuck.
Well, that's comforting, but I'm afraid you'll just have to wait.
Oh, all right. I hate waiting. I could give you my word as a Spaniard with this weird voice.
No good? I've known too many Spaniards.
Isn't there any way you'll trust me?
And nothing comes to mind.
I swear on the soul of... Oh, man. I just want to do the voice. It's so fucking hard.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. I swear on the soul of my father, Domingo Montoya, you'll reach the top alive.
All right, throw me the rope.
Do the rip.
The rope. Throw me the rope.
Things happening.
All right, mate. Thank you.
Yeah, we'll wait until you're ready.
Nah, again, thank you.
Hey, Right, well, I don't mean to pry, but you don't by any chance happen to have 6 fingers on your right hand? That's right.
Do you always start conversations this way?
Well, my father was slaughtered by a 6-fingered man. He was a great sword maker, my father, and when the 6-fingered man appeared and requested a special sword, my father took the job. He slaved a year before he was done.
Well, I've never seen its equal.
The 6-fingered man returned and demanded it at 1/10 his promised price. My father refused. Without a word, the 6-fingered man slashed him through the heart. Blah, blah, blah. Slashed him through the heart. I loved my father, so naturally, I challenged him to murder. Challenged his murderer to a duel, but I failed. The 6-fingered man left me alive, but he gave me these.
How old were you?
Oh, I was almost 11. And when I was strong enough, I dedicated my life to the study of fencing. So next time we meet, I will not fail. I'll just go up to the 6-fingered man and say, "Hello, my name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Sorry, but prepare to die."
Oh. So you've done nothing but study swordplay then?
Well, I'm more pursuit than study lately. You see, I can't find them. It's been 20 years. Wait, so would that make him 21?
31.
Or 31. 20.
Yeah.
I can maths. It's been, oh, Christ. All right. It's been about 20 years now, and I'm starting to lose confidence. I just work for Vizzini to pay the bills. There's not a lot of money in revenge.
Well, I hope you find him someday.
Well, you ready then?
Whether I am or not, you've been more than fair.
Well, you seem a decent fellow. I hate to kill you.
You seem like a distant fellow. I hate to die.
Brilliant.
Such a good scene.
Oh, God. So, and then just the choreography. It's so fucking good, dude. The whole scene.
I love it when they're fighting. He's like, "You're amazing."
My name is Max. My world is fire and blood.
Why are you hurting these people? It's the oil, stupid.
Oil wars. We are killing for gasoline.
The world is actually running out of water.
There's the water wars. Water wars.
Once, I was a cop, a road warrior searching for a righteous cause.
To the terminal freakout point.
Mankind has gone rogue, terrorizing itself.
Thermonuclear skirmish.
The earth is sour.
Our bones are poisoned.
We have become half-life.
As the world fell, each of us in our own way was broken. It was hard to know who was more crazy. Me or everyone else.
Yeah, that's why I found that like holding a microphone is better for me.
Oh, absolutely, because I know where
Yeah.
the
Right,
placement
putting
is.
it.
And you try to like find the you go
They make those planes so fucking fast, huh?
And we're here in the Cole-astic Cinema Studio with our special guest star, KG. He's back. He's
Hi,
back.
friends. Woo! Thanks for having me, fellas.
Thank you for being here. And we kind of did a little bit of the preamble before you got here.
Kinda.
Just going over,
the
you
best.
know, the general shit, like director, who's in it, and all the fun stuff. None of the behind the scenes anything, and we still have yet to watch the movie. So a couple things like I wanted to bring up were, let's see, the Mad Max world building. Because you and me, KG, we were talking about it off screen, off mic, rather. But we were talking about that and how George Miller kind of had an idea, if not, or something about how he wanted the entire world. But you gave it a better.
Yeah, so he had this entire universe mapped out in 1995. He started writing the movie in 95.
Really?
Yeah. Making this movie was kind of a shit show because George Miller is George Miller and got into fights with various studios and because it's a very expensive movie. Like, it's a very expensive movie to make to the degree where we'll never see a movie like this ever again.
Oh, yeah, no.
I truly
No.
don't believe we will.
No, a movie being made for that amount of money, but it will not be nearly as like on par with what I'm guessing. Because as we talked in the preamble, I haven't seen this movie before,
Right.
so I'm guessing that it's gonna.
Yeah, it's nuts. There's like the only, I guess, CG is for the environment. Like all the
it's like all
action
background
is
and
real.
bullshit.
Like there's a scene where a dude jumps off a truck onto another truck and blows it up, and that was done with bungee cords, and then a little bit of CGI. It's nuts, dude.
Oh my god, that makes me so nervous.
Yeah. Like this movie is so sick because it's a rock opera at 60 miles an hour. Like the movie is a chase and then a race, and it's pretty sick.
Yeah.
Also, all the props in the movies were made practically. Like George Miller sent people to junkyards and said, "Just buy shit," and they just bought shit. And then they made steering wheels and explosives and trim and
God, that just feels like-
weapons out of it.
Yeah, it feels like a
Yeah.
wet dream for a lot of these guys. Just like,
Yeah.
"Wait, I got to do what? Okay.
Well, dude, like huge advocates for practical special effects, and
Hell
like
yeah.
it very much shows in this movie. A lot of the explosions, a lot of the car, like just the flipping. You can really tell, like, no matter how much crazy shit you get in like, let's say like a Marvel movie, all the explosions and all the flipping, and it's like, oh, you can still, it doesn't quite hit you as much as one car flipping over in this movie.
Yeah.
Oh,
That
absolutely.
hits so much harder than all the crazy excess in any MCU movie.
I know a lot of dumb facts about this movie, and I feel like perhaps I should save them for the after. But there's a lot of really interesting like facts about that flip that we're talking about, for example.
Yeah.
You know?
And there was another thing. I might have talked about it in the preamble. I don't remember. But the main antagonist, Immortan Joe, he has 3 sons, and I thought his 3 sons were Scrotus, Rictus, and Erectus, but no. Rictus Erectus is the one son's full name.
His big boy.
Fucking
Yeah.
names.
I thought we were doing the preamble right now.
We
Oh,
are
so
doing,
we're just, oh.
we are doing the preamble.
Oh.
Because we all watched Furiosa in theaters.
It was good. If
Yeah,
you
it
don't
was
think
a
it was
very-
good,
I enjoyed it.
touch my penis, but I won't like it.
It was
Fuck
a
you.
very good movie. A little bit more CGI heavy, but a very, very fun character study on the Furiosa as a character. But yeah, he's got Immortan Joe has 3 sons. He's got Rictus Erectus, Scarberus Scrotus, Scabrous Scrotus, Scabrous Scrotus, and Corpus Colossus. And so I was right that he had 3 sons. I just thought that Rictus and Erectus were 2 different people, but no, it's Rictus Erectus.
No, when you're Erectus, you're also Rictus at the same time.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, these fucking names.
They're fun.
Yeah, and
Remind me of Max's full name.
Max Rockatansky.
So we're dealing with that. That's our fucking protagonist, and we
Yeah.
got like Rictus Erectus and Scrotus, Scabby Scrotus, and fucking
Scurvy Scrotus.
Yeah, we got Scurvy Scrotus and fucking
And also, like, the name Immortan Joe by itself.
Immortan.
Like,
Immortan Joe.
I love it, but also for like a year I called him Immortal Joe.
Well, I have
Which
some information
still,
on that.
still works.
Well, I know.
Yeah.
But we're gonna wait until after the movie.
Oh, and Cole,
Okay.
I think there's something you need to mention.
Oh yeah, but do you want to do it now or do it
Yeah,
after the movie?
let's do
'Cause
it.
I'm
No,
aware
no.
of the comic book connection.
And there is a comic book connection. There's a 2015 comic book that came out alongside with the movie Fury Road, and what it mainly like catalogs. Oh, sorry, this is your bit.
This is my bit. What you want to tell me?
Also, it's
I'm telling-
Immortan Joe.
It's the Immortan Joe.
Immortan Joe.
Well, because the comic book series were also written by George Miller. A chronicle is pretty much like what Furiosa was up to while things were happening, as well as Max post Thunderdome. Because I was really curious, like if this takes place post Thunderdome or in between, because the timeline is kind of hard to keep track
the
of.
timeline is kind of shaky. Yeah.
It is what it is, which makes sense. They make a comic book out of it because timelines don't fucking matter in
No, they
goddamn
don't.
comic books. But yeah, no, he's called Immortal Joe pretty much after finding out that there's this place with an aquifer hidden within the rocks and all that. And it's currently being held by people. So he leads his army, because he was a colonel in the army, to take it down. They go try to fuck shit up. Things happen. Things are bad. Things are rough. Really just read the comic book. It sounds fucking amazing. But Joe ends up getting up in there and taking over. And after taking over, pretty much the people that helped him do that, like, who's the dude with no fucking nose, but it's all...
The People Eater.
The People Eater.
People Eater,
Which is
yeah.
actually not that character's name. That is the name of his vehicle.
That's the name of his vehicle, is the People
Oh,
Eater. Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
that's the People
Because
Eater.
that seems like really weird, because I felt like it was implying that this heavy-set motherfucker was just eating dudes.
Yeah.
Is
It
he
might have
eating
been
dudes?
both.
Oh,
It
Jesus.
could have been. I don't know.
Jesus.
But I know that the
Yeah.
name of his vehicle is the People
People
Eater.
Eater. Okay. Well, so he's called Immortal Joe after taking over the
Immortan
aquifer.
Joe.
No, he's called Immortal Joe first.
Oh, so KG wasn't wrong.
No, he's still right. It's still Immortan Joe. It just ends up degrading
usually
into
the case.
Immortan Joe. With Nux, his first name was like Hard Nut to Crack, and ended up just devolving into
Oh.
Nux, which is also covered in the comic books.
See, as much as I love these movies, I've never actually read the comic books. And
Oh no! What I read these today once I found out that there was a
I
comic.
told him before you got to Hopkins. I told him there was a comic book.
So
maybe I should start reading.
So I completely just ignored everybody for a good 30 minutes and just did a nice little deep dive, like I do. It's,
Love that.
Autism's fun.
Love that. Tell me that. Yeah. Hell yeah, brother. Hell yeah.
Yeah, I love that. You can see in the background, Cole let me borrow. I will say borrow his Dark Knight's Metal, Batman, the Dawnbreaker.
holographic edition.
For the listener, it's framed.
Oh, it's framed.
It is framed, but we need to get a clear frame because the opaque frame is
opaque frame for some.
Oh, I didn't realize. I thought that was.
No, it's actually a lot prettier.
It's like super shiny and like everything.
Yeah, it's a holographic.
Is it shiny and chrome?
Yeah,
It's
it is shiny and chrome.
Guys.
It is shiny
Yeah.
and chrome, guys.
We just need to get a
Tie
better
it all
frame for
together.
it, and then I'm gonna put it up somewhere in the office before we have to fucking move. Anyway, so this movie. Oh, I already did all the.
Yeah,
I already did all the. This movie
doing the
made.
post-amble to the preamble.
We're doing the post-preamble.
Post-amble.
The pre-post-amble.
Post-preamble.
The perpamble.
We're just tagging me in because my work schedule's a nightmare. Tagging in. Sorry, guys.
Yeah. Preach to the choir, man.
So, I think a lot of the stuff we want to talk about is more post-amble. So I think we're gonna go watch the movie right now.
This is the part where we shut up and then we watch the movie.
And we already did our script reading for this episode, so
Nice.
we're
Love
all
that.
good to go. All right, we're gonna go watch Fury Road. We're gonna let you know what we think and a whole bunch of other shit.
You know, hope is a mistake. If you can't fix what's broken, you'll go insane.
Inside of Cole's asshole because he's gay.
Oh,
Yeah, that's how we're starting this.
That's how everybody
Anyway,
knows.
you're gay.
Anyway, that was Mad Max Fury Road. That was an amazing film I've seen 17,000 times. But it never dips in quality. It only increases in every viewing. It never it's so much fun seeing it in theaters twice, seeing it at home however many times I've seen it. It is just one of the best movies ever made. And we are going to get into why. Let's start with Cole, because he had never seen this. He has never seen this in theaters. The first time he watched it was today.
Yeah, no, I'm new to the universe. I've seen Furiosa before this, so I had no idea what the fuck was going on the entire goddamn movie during Furiosa. Like, that might be something. That is definitely something. Oh, that I don't know if that's anything.
Also, starting with the prequel was kind of like a the subtle references you won't get, but the entire world, the world building is I feel like you get the Mad Max world right away.
Oh yeah, no, it definitely like lets you know what's going on like right away.
Yeah, in terms of like movies with prequels, it's kind of like Star Wars, but way less annoying.
Way less annoying.
Yeah, for sure.
A lot less toxic fanboys being like, "Oh, we're dumper."
Also, KG, you can bring not like
How about that?
a little bit, well, if you're gonna be talking like this, but when you just regular right
It seems
about that.
comfortable to me.
There you go, right there.
Okay.
That's perfect.
I get to be the cool youth pastor leaning up against the backside of a chair. Let's rap about Mad Max
Jesus.
Fury Road.
Let's talk about child. No, we're okay. Moving on. Anyway, so as an introduction to the Mad Max universe, how would you take, besides Furiosa, how would you take Fury Road?
Just a lot of goddamn fucking fun. It feels like there's a lot more going on than like a new viewer would be aware of, but I feel like it plays it safe enough to where you can actually get involved in it and kind of like find yourself catching up along the way. Luckily, the movie's over 2 hours, so you can like, all right, who are these people? Who's this guy? What's going on? Like, but long enough, like the movie goes on. You're like, oh, okay, here's what's going on.
Do you feel at any point like, if I hadn't watched the previous movies, I wouldn't know what's going on, or
Oh no, like it pretty much sets it up really quickly, like letting you know this is the dystopian apocalyptic, hellscape in the middle of bumfuck nowhere, Australia. Like it lets you know pretty quickly what's going on. You can easily just jump right in the universe and be.
Yeah.
But also, I might be a little biased because Mad Max has kind of permeated the pop culture and zeitgeist and all that. So you already know that that's kind of their whole fucking deal. Like it's been parodied countless times. So
Right.
you can easily, just even knowing the parodies, jump into this movie.
Even South Park had a whole fun bit with Butters wearing a hockey mask, telling the girls in the class, "It's okay, just walk away. We don't have to fight." Like that. That's from the Road Warrior. But I didn't know any of that stuff, and this movie was actually the first Mad Max movie I watched from start to finish in theaters. I didn't really know the Mad Max world. I gave it a chance because KG said give it a chance, and I did, and it blew me away and took me to an entire fucking plane to where I wanted to have all of this world in my veins.
I gave it 3 chances in theaters. I know it's a fun movie, and there's like a lot of fun lore behind it because George Miller is like he's an artist, but a different type of psychopath, like a very practical one.
Yeah,
I think. Like one of the fun things that happened in the beginning of the movie. So in the Road Warrior, there's a scene where a guy on a motorcycle T-bones a car and he like flips over a bunch. That wasn't supposed to work out that way. That dude like pulverized his femurs.
Yeah. Ouch.
And so on Fury Road, he was the stunt coordinator because George Miller likes working with the same people a bunch. And in the first scene, when they roll the Interceptor, he was like, "Well, I want to set a world record for rolling an Interceptor, so I'll do it myself."
Jesus Christ! Oh my God!
Yeah, so he got behind the wheel after having pulverized his femurs in the first movie
Decades ago.
Yeah, I mean back in I guess it was what was the first movie made in 76?
79.
79.
Jesus.
Yeah. And Immortan Joe was there. I mean, it was the same actor from both of the movies. Toe Cutter. That's Immortan Joe.
Yeah. And that's the fun. One of the fun bits I wanted to get into is Toe Cutter isn't Immortan Joe.
It's just the same guy.
Again. Oh, that's a fun loop. All right. So, a very fun loop. So, Toe Cutter goes under the wheels of a semi and dies, but it's him and Immortan Joe are the same actor. So a lot of people theorized that Toe Cutter was Immortan Joe, with Immortan Joe's whole shtick of "I live, I die, I live again."
Yeah.
But they're not the same character. They're just played by the same actor. And it was the same thing that I got going into Furiosa, because the actor that plays Slick in Fury Road is the same actor that plays Scrotus in Furiosa. So I had that same kind of thing. It was like, oh, Scrotus, so he comes back as a war boy. It's Slick, but no, it's just fun.
Same guy.
Yeah, it's just fun.
Just directors casting actors like working with, and
exactly.
That's why he went from Slick to what was it? Scabious Scrotus.
Yeah, Scorbus Scrotus.
The guy that looked like Beavis, right? He looked exactly like Mikey Day playing Beavis in SNL.
Scababus Scrotus Scorius Salazar.
That guy.
Yeah, the founder of Slytherin.
In it, didn't you?
Yeah. Scabrous Scorius Scorius Slytherin.
It's too many S's for a man with a list.
Okay, so here's my trivia. What is the sequence to make the war rig run?
1, 1, 2, 1, push, flick, or push, go.
Almost, yeah, it's pretty good.
It's close enough.
Very close.
Yeah, 1, 1, 2, 1. She says something.
Like
off, on, go.
Yeah,
off on,
yeah,
go.
yeah.
Fuck.
I think. I'm probably wrong, actually.
The biggest one for me is 1, 1, 2.
Yeah, 1, 2.
1, 2.
But yeah, it actually is. It's a lot, and it's fun that whole sequence of kill switches and everything. But okay, sorry, I don't want to cut you off, KG.
I'm just trying to think of my other trivia questions.
I was thinking with that, it's fun to think of because that sequence where Furiosa tells Max, "I might need you to drive the war rig," but everything's shut off and she's outside of it, and then she says "fool" and it immediately starts going.
Yeah.
That means, like, in my head, that means Max already knew what was going on and he's like, all right. And he already did all of the dead switches and is fucking, like, she says fool and he's already going. Like, he knew what was going on in his head. It's fucking Max. Like, he knows. So he's already on his, like, okay, let's go.
Yeah, and if it didn't go if it didn't go poorly, he was just going to steal it.
Yeah, exactly. He was already on his way out.
Hell yeah, dude. That's fucking brilliant. That's awesome. I like a character like that. It's like, well, either I help them out or I get to steal it. Either way, I win. Yeah. Hell yes, everything's coming
I feel like
Max.
the whole Wasteland or whatever is bred on, like, the only trust you have in somebody is that you can't trust them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And there's a lot of that in the game too. So I wanted to talk about a little bit of the timeline of the Mad Max universe.
Ah, yes. So we were talking about the video game earlier, and the video game lines up so well because George Miller had all of this, like, after he did the first two movies, he had the rest of it written in 1995.
Fuck.
He was crossing the street, the story goes, and almost got hit by a Peterbilt.
Whoa. Shit.
Yeah, like it stopped just in time. And then after that, he didn't think about it a bunch, and then he got stuck on an airplane from, like, Los Angeles to Sydney or whatever. And they had a room in some big production studio in either Perth or Sydney. Are those the same thing? Who knows? Who fucking knows?
It's just Australia.
It's an island full of criminals. Why are we splitting hairs? Where, like, they literally, the entire thing was not written down on a script. They storyboarded the whole thing out. Like, with pictures, the whole fucking movie.
Some bitch.
Yeah. Was that?
Said some bitch.
Yeah. Nuts, right?
All because he got nearly got hit by a Peterbilt and then got, like, delayed on. Like,
it's like, oh, this would be a fun. I'm not gonna try to do the thing.
I'll fucking try, go for it.
Oh, cunt, that would be a fun thing to do, eh?
My neighbor. We're gonna write a movie that follows up. Follows up Road Warrior.
Is Will gonna listen to this?
Probably not.
Does he even know I have a podcast?
I don't know. I haven't talked to him in a while.
All right, then fuck him.
Yeah.
Oi, also no to that shit.
No.
No.
But yeah, apparently, like, he was walking across the street thinking about the Mad Max movies, and then almost got hit by a giant truck. And he was like, I should make a movie that is... So...
That would track for Road Warrior, I think. Because isn't that the first one with a war rig?
Not necessarily, no.
Okay.
So if you were to, like, rank the most important characters in Fury Road, what would you say?
Furiosa.
Okay.
Immortan Joe.
Okay.
The People Eater, but I don't. That's his car. I don't know if his name is the People Eater or if his car is the People Eater.
I know
I think he's both.
We'll just call him the People Eater
because we noticed that they said in the movie the People Eater himself.
Yeah.
Well, my whole point is Max, like, in this movie, Max isn't
he's
the
not
most
an ancillary character, but he's not the main character.
No, he's not. Furiosa's the main character. She's our protagonist.
Cole, what would you say?
Max is kind of just, I feel like, the viewer, like, ourselves. Like he's kind of just along for the ride, like getting stuck in a situation, trying to break out of things, but making the best of it and getting swept up until it's time for like the movie to end, time for him to move on. Like he is
like
the
he does
audience.
at
Yeah,
the end
he's just
of the
like,
movie.
all right, well, we did it.
Cool. I'm gonna
Deuces.
go fuck off.
I'm gonna
Like Max isn't the protagonist. He is
Right.
just in this movie. He gets roped into this movie under like bullshit circumstances just because of the war boys
Yeah.
find him and bring him to be a blood bag. But he's like, it is a Mad Max movie, but he's not
not
the
necessarily the main
protagonist.
character.
No.
So in terms of like, so the main character is not necessarily the one who's on screen the most, right?
No.
Take one of my other favorite
It's-
movies, Hellraiser, for example. You see Doug Bradley like 5 times, right?
Right.
But this is a little less. The War Rig, I think, is the second most important character in this movie because most of it
that's where
takes
everything
place
inside the war
inside
rig itself.
I'll
So-
agree with that. It sacrifices itself just as much as Nux does.
They made Charlize Theron learn to drive a non-synchro 13-speed transmission, and then also act out of it, which is fucking bananas, dog.
If anyone can do it, though, it's fucking Charlie.
Yeah,
So,
it'd be her.
I also have the fun bit with Charlize.
Gold jacket, green jacket.
Gold jacket. So she so on day 2, 3 of filming this movie, she said, "Fuck it, I'm shaving my head."
Yeah, because she'd been doing, I think,
She was filming
A Million Ways to Die in the West.
Yeah, A Million Ways to Die in the West at the same time. And then she said, "Fuck it, I'm shaving my head."
yeah.
And she did. And so when you watch A Million Ways to Die in the West, she's just got a big ass wig on.
yeah.
Or a cowboy hat with shit coming out of it.
Yeah.
Like you never see her without her hat on, or with, I think there's one scene with her hair all done up and shit, but that's a wig.
Well, that was probably actually her hair at one point because
It might
Fury
yeah,
Road
yeah.
took like years to film. And
Yeah.
that's why there's 2 different camps in terms of, like, if you ask the actors, like, especially in particular the scenes where the wives are outside of the truck and, like, hosing down, that was all freezing cold temperatures because it turns out Namibia gets
No.
cold.
No, well, I can tell because Zoe Kravitz looked very
The titties.
cold
The titties.
in that scene.
Yeah. And then they would go back and forth from, like, it was freezing cold most of the time. The scenes in the canyon apparently were, like, unbelievably hot. And then the scenes that they filmed that were supposed to look like they were at night were swelteringly.
Yeah, the hottest temperatures you could ever film in.
But the desert is fucking crazy. And it's also the coldest climate in the world. But there's nothing to freeze.
Exactly. Oh, man.
it's the hottest and the coldest. Like
People will be sleeping on
don't-
deserts.
you don't
They're
have
scary places. I don't like them.
Get
I don't know
stuck
why I
in-
live here.
Don't get trapped in the
No,
goddamn desert.
that being said, we live in one.
Yeah.
That's why we don't get a fall or a spring. It's like, oh wow, it's so fucking cold. Oh my shit, and now it's summer. Oh great. Oh, I
Oh,
can't
good.
wait
We're all
for it to
gonna
be-
die for a
and
different
now
reason.
it's cold. Yeah.
Well, the Namibian desert is such a, like, wastescape that it works for the movie, right?
Yeah.
It does. It does.
But it's also so uninhabitable that, like, the entire time they were filming it, it was, unless they were making noise, which they made a bunch of, it was dead silent. Because there's no birds out there. There's no other motherfuckers out there. It is nothing piled on top of a little more nothing.
Oh, that sounds
Honestly,
awesomely horrific.
Yeah.
honestly, I bet the sound team was like, "This is fucking great.
Yeah.
This is all right. Y'all do whatever you want to do. I'll get room tone. Never mind. There's no room. Holy shit. There's nothing. Anyway,
Hold for sand tone.
So I want to hold for stand tone. That's great.
Well, they would fucking fire up, like, wind machines. Like, when the wives are standing off of the rig, they filmed a lot of those stationary, and they would fire up wind machines, and it was like 30 degrees.
Whew. God damn, man.
Yeah, that shit has got to suck.
Yeah, that's. I mean, because those things are like they're not like built for one. They're built to keep out the heat because you're like in the desert. So, ooh,
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get into a little bit about the back house. Jesus Christ, the behind the scenes. I'm gonna start calling behind the scenes back of house. That might be fun. That might be a fun bit. Let's get into the back of house and get into the vehicles. KG, this is one of the bits that I knew you would know more about that I do. Tell us a little bit about the vehicles and everything they did to make this movie.
They were all custom built vehicles, and there's like 50 of them. So the big ones are obviously the War Rig, which we mentioned was one of the main characters. They built 3 of them. Jesus. They built 3 identical semi-trucks that sometimes were just shuttling people back and forth. Sometimes they left one in the middle of the desert overnight in case they had to drive smaller cars out there to film a scene. They have 3 functioning War Rigs, and when I win the lottery, I won't tell anybody, but there will be signs. You know what I mean? I'll just have a War Rig in front of my tiny house in Sandy. You know,
just someone coming around the corner, just like, what the
fuck is this monstrosity?
It's in your driveway and your neighbor's driveway.
Yep. And they also wanted, like, George Miller demanded that truck be designed to look animalistic. So if you look at a regular semi-truck and look at the War Rig, they don't sit the same. But the guy who designed and engineered all these vehicles made the trailer sit just a little bit higher than the already raised cab on the truck because it makes it look like an animal.
Because like almost like it's poising
It's
distract.
got its shoulders up a little bit.
Yeah, it's got its shoulders up a little bit. Its hind legs in attack mode.
So more of a predator, like stalking the wastelands itself.
Yeah. And there's a scene where she goes, "We lost engine 1," and it's like, okay, yeah, like you can film that, but George Miller just had 3 semi-trucks with 2 engines, which is fucking insane because I looked at buying a semi-truck for a while, and they're all like $200,000.
I had a good question for you during the movie. I said, does your semi-truck have 2 engines? And you told me to shut the fuck up and watch the movie.
No, it does not. Because I work for a company.
Well,
and also nobody's semi-truck has 2 engines.
But what would it take for a semi-truck to have 2 engines? Is how much power?
A couple of years and a shitload of money.
How much power would that have?
It depends on what you put in it, but it'd be certainly about 1,500, 2,000 horsepower.
Sounds about right.
Because
crazy. I was looking at the air intakes on the back one, the one closest to the window, and I was like, that's clearly a V8.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, they don't make a. Well, they do actually, but for the most part, your semi trucks don't come in like a V6.
Yeah,
some of them do, but they're older.
So we're gonna assume we have 2 V8s.
Yeah,
throwing throwing power through.
Well, and then there's the Immortan Joe's car, which is a pair of old Cadillacs stacked on top of a pair of old tractor wheels with a pair of big blocks bolted together to make not a V8, but a W16 that drives one shaft. The shaft probably came out of a military vehicle.
Oh, knowing the Martin Joe, yeah.
Yeah.
Everything about this is so phallic.
Between the characters' names. That's also one of the points, I guess.
Yeah,
is that
just like cars in general are just so.
Also,
he's got all those wives, you know what I mean?
Also, those of you who are listening that are engine nerds and have multiple wives, you're going to be getting off so hard in this episode. Jesus, I have no idea how you feel about this.
I had sex with your engines.
Have sex with your engines. Jesus. Okay.
But all the cars in that movie are functioning vehicles, like the down to the excavator, the thing that the buzzards drive with the saw blades and the bucket.
Dude, I would love to have one of those bug because one of them is a beetle with just the rusty ass spikes sticking out. Like those are so much fun. I would love to have one of those.
Well, everybody says you can never make again because they're like they think being canceled is a fear that they actually have to deal with. But a movie like this could genuinely never be made again because nobody's going to give you like a, let's say, $15 million budget for Cars.
Oh yeah, just for Cars alone? Absolutely not.
But I'll bet you that if you gave George, like, I'll bet you they came in under budget for Cars because they had motherfuckers, as far as I understand, like going to junkyards and just picking shit up and then flying it to Namibia so they could make all of the props. Like, all the props are, they're like, the only thing I think that was like stage foam or whatever, I don't know if that's the right term, was the chain that was attached to Max.
Yeah.
Like, the whole complaint was that kept breaking a lot. But, like, all of the, what do you call them, the boomsticks?
Oh, the thunder sticks.
Yeah,
Thunder,
like, those were all made out of...
the thunder poons.
Yeah, it wasn't painted PVC. It was bike tire wrapped around itself 1,000 times, and then they put soda cans on top with a trigger.
Fuck yeah, dude. That's goddamn awesome.
The steering wheels were made out of stuff they found in a junkyard and then wrapped it around itself and then wrapped it around a baby
when you
head
have
or a skull, you know?
a high budget B movie, like let's go. Like, we can make the most basic ass shit like that. Like the thunder sticks. Let's just wrap a Coke can in rubber and make it look like it's something that will blow up. And then have all that shit go.
Well, it's definitely a compliment to the universe itself. Like, I'd imagine because it's so, like, smaller budget that, like, this is a passion project for a lot of the people actually designing everything. Like, they grew up, like, would you consider Mad Max like cult status or a bit more popular
almost,
than that?
I guess. I think it's more. I think it's a bit more popular than that. At least the first two. I mean,
the very first movie, 100%.
Yeah.
The Road Warrior, no.
No, that's pure.
Road Warrior onward is, I think it's in film history as, this is a fun franchise. But the first movie,
even through the Road Warrior, Miller was still paying most of his actors in flats of beer. Like, they were all very low budget.
Fuck yeah! So it's definitely very much just a bunch of people.
Yeah, just Australians being Australian as shit.
Like, I guess we're gonna make this fucking movie, have a good time. You know, don't pass me a Foster's because that's not Australian for beer. Get the fuck out of my face.
My famous fuck.
Yo, are you enjoying that stunt? Oi, cunt. Well, he's breathing, so I guess we got it. Did we get the shot?
Get the pretend ambulance out of here.
Oh. Crike.
Who we get the
shows
shot?
up to the hospital in a fucking box van
we
full
got the
of
shot.
skulls and femurs and shit.
That's a wrap on.
We've got a couple if you need to use them, but his are broken, so if you can fix them.
Sorry. If you can use them, that'll be great.
There was also another fun story about the first time one of the wives saw Hugh Keysburn, Immortan Joe, in his makeup was when they were filming a scene from the side of the, like, when she sees him, like, in the car.
Yeah.
And she said, like, it literally, like, made her, like, wince and, like, pull away.
Yeah.
And I think they kept the shot in the movie.
Yeah, where it's like,
Yeah, because, like, a big concern with his makeup was the way that George Miller described it. They were like, this is going to be cartoonish and silly. And then they just got a really good makeup artist who was like, nope, I found actual horse teeth. Do you want to use those?
Is that what's going on there? Oh,
yeah, they
Jesus.
use horse teeth.
Holy shit. Wow.
Yeah.
Because, it does feel like it should be cartoonish and silly.
Yeah.
A lot of Mad Max feels like it's bordering on cartoonish and silly. Like it's a
Roadrunner,
it's a Roadrunner Coyote cartoon.
Yeah.
Like half the time, but just like super realistic. Which is, definitely a testament to the movie.
Some of the bits though, like the mask. Yeah. With horse teeth, regardless, when it opens and it actually opens and he's screaming. Oh man, does that play so well?
Oh, really?
Very effective because you only see it for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
you know. Just,
and there's my son shooting bullets into the air.
So, I think. I mean, you
only a real idiot would not like that particular scene in this movie. Only a real fucking dipshit.
You can probably guess from the context of the world building and everything. So Furiosa, you have Rictus Erectus and Scarverus Scrotus. So you got
two dicks.
So you got Rictus and Scrotus, and they're the two sons. You don't see Corpus Colossus because I don't know if that actor died or not.
Possibility. I know that Hugh Keays-Byrne died like a year after they made.
I mean, he did not look. He was literally just a chest and a head.
Oh yeah, it's overwhelmingly likely that guy died like 3 weeks later.
Yeah.
Like,
anyway,
little nugget.
Yeah. Anyway, so the game. Hopefully, the game is canon. I really do hope the game is canon. But you fight Scrotus and Scrotus's army, and in the end, I don't know why I haven't finished the game, but I can assume in the end of the game you kill Scrotus, and that plays into the timing of the series with the movie Furiosa, because you have the two sons, Scrotus and Rictus. And then Fury Road is just Rictus. So I think the game more or less is in between those two movies.
Yeah.
And I think in the end of the game you kill Scrotus, but I don't know. I'm not at the end of it. So
yeah, I mean, I know that at least as far as we can tell, like George Miller had this whole universe like written out back in the 90s. But filming Fury Road was like a 5 or 6 year fight. In terms of like they'd get everybody down to Namibia and the studio would be like, well, fuck you, we don't like it. And then George Miller would be like, okay, then I won't do it. And they would be like, okay, we'll hire somebody else. And they're like, well, not based on our company. Like they would just get into these weaselly little fights and George Miller dug his heels in. And thank God he did.
Yeah.
Thank God he did.
For sure. And he needs to a little bit more because Furiosa had a little bit more CGI than I care to admit, but it was still a really fun movie.
Yeah, well, I mean, Fury Road, he produced, wrote, and directed, and I think he only directed Furiosa. So he didn't have quite as much dick to swing, perhaps.
Yeah.
Lame.
Yeah.
Just especially after so much success, why would you?
Yeah.
Well, because he upset the wrong people,
Upset the wrong
by
people.
sticking to his guns like a
Yeah.
goddamn adult.
You're like, no, this is the thing I'm gonna fucking make. Well, no, fuck you, don't make that. Oh, this thing did great. Yeah, but still, fuck you though.
One of the other things
no.
that's really great, that's like refreshing to see about like a Wasteland movie, is like take a second, think about every post-apocalyptic movie you've seen. What does it look like? Everything looks like a garbage can, and Fury Road doesn't. And I think there's something like kind of poetically about like, well, like it kind of lifts up the human spirit in a way.
Yeah,
Because
especially
all those,
especially
every device was made from something of junk.
yeah.
And so I think like human beings are designed to make something out of
the
nothing.
human will to survive and adapt and to like create something out of nothing, like repurpose junk and then to create something out of that, which is why we have the MCU.
Yeah. Oh, Christ.
But it's crap. But if we keep building on this crap, it might eventually be good.
We keep building
gonna
this
be
crap,
good,
and then we can
but
hire
it's gonna
Robert Downey
devol-
Jr. a couple more times.
A few more
It's
times.
yeah, it's gonna devolve back into crap though.
Exactly. Well, how sustainable is the Mad Max universe itself when it comes? Like, first of all, I'm still confused about how, like, much after the nuclear fallout this is. 'Cause it seems like everyone just devolved into, fuck normal names.
It was already junk before nuclear fallout.
In Australia, is that why they have those names like Furiosa and Scrotus and Rectus and
Those
Corpus?
are traditional Australian names.
Those are traditional
and
Australian
thank you
names?
to not besmirch the Aborigine like that.
I'm gonna besmirch the fuck out of that. Those are terrible names.
Fair enough. Well, look, it's a penal
Corpus,
colony.
that is not Aborigine. That is Latin.
That is in Texas. Actually. Look,